Today, I'm here to talk about the end of the year. Yep. So I know that so many of us, like me, beginning of every new year or at the end of every year, we like to set what we call New Year resolution. This could include things such as what we don't want to do again, things we want to do away with, how we want to become better, maybe personal growth, career wise, and as well as some unrealistic goals. Don't lie, when 2022 began, there were some things that we wrote and we thought by the grace of God it will come to realization. Not because we knew that they could be actualized. But today, as the year is closing, I wanted to talk to us a bit about expectations, what our expectations for 2022 were, and how much of the expectations actually came to be. So stay tuned. Another side of the internet once again. If you don't know me, I'm going to introduce myself to you again because it's the end of the year. Yay! I'm so grateful to you guys. I'm grateful for a lot of things, like a bunch of things that I didn't think would be realistic for me this year. But yeah, I'm going to share my story first and I'll talk a bit about expectations for 2023. So when my year started, or prior to 2022, last year, it was a lot for me. I had just moved into a new apartment on my own. Like I had to pay the bills on my own. This time around, I didn't have a roommate or something. And it was catastrophic because my landlady was a disaster. But I'm not even going to go into that. And then I and my family, we're going through a rough time because we wanted to save money for my mom's burial. You guys don't know. I said I'm going to write a story about it someday, but not right now. The burial rites and customs in Nigeria, in our Nigerian culture, is a lot. And it's a lot because most people do not care how the surviving people are going to be fending for themselves. All they are very much concerned about is we have to do this particular rites. And so we had to save like a bunch of money. And plus my house rent, plus everything. It was just a lot. But thankfully, 2021 ended with us carrying out that particular rite. And I could not have been prouder of myself and my siblings for putting ourselves through all of those things, all of those measures, everything that I wanted. And we got that done. So when 2021 drew to a close, all that was in my head was, God, I want to be able to be happy next year. I'm not joking, I wrote 4 things down. And I wanted to be happy or happier in 2022. I wanted more financial freedom. I wanted 2022 to be a year of ease. And I wanted to have a lot of savings. These were the 4 things that I wrote down beginning of 2022. But when the year began, when 2022 began, a lot of beautiful things began to happen. And I'll give you some of them. Like I said, 2021 was catastrophic, right? So when 2022 began, all I wanted was just to be happy, have a year of peace. Okay, now this time around, I don't have burial hanging over my head anymore as a firstborn. I am done with that. My sibling was going to go into school. No, she had already started school. And then the other one was getting into university. So I was just thankful to God that, now let me focus on myself. And then in 2022, I'll take time to plan and see what I want to do with my life. So I didn't come into 2022 with any expectations at all. So when the year started, and I remember that, Kama, Margaret, I did to me, she sent me a message on Instagram around October. That was shortly before we even traveled for the burial. I was not in the right frame of mind. I won't lie to you guys. But I really wanted to be on that project with them. It was this story, Roses in Red. Yes, you should get a copy. And I just told them yes that I'm in. But again, I was not in the right frame of mind. I was like everywhere, burials, preparation and all that. And we traveled, we got back in November. And when we got back in November, and I saw that a lot of them were already doing a lot of things, I'm not going to lie, I felt depressed. Because again, the burial and repeating my mom's past everything that happened during her death in 2019, everything, it was just a lot. So I was depressed, I was sad. My life was not lifing how I wanted it. But I decided to just keep pushing. And then November came. Like, I had used all my savings to do burial. Like, this is not even me trying to be someone. I used all my savings to do burial. If you know how, well, I don't want to get into it. And my friends started coming through for me. This one will send me 5,000 this week. So one send me 7,000 the next one. Like, I was basically relying on my friends for money to feed. And plus, you guys know my work is remote. So I could have complaints with that. Oh, okay, you people paid me October salary. And even October salary, I had used it. So I had to rely on my friends. And then we had to edit this work. And if I tell you that the work I submitted was trash, this is not me exaggerating and put it that way. I know how you people think, you know, perfectionist and all that, but the work was trash, basically. I remember 2 people having to help me edit that work, like, all over. I'm not joking. On the, like, among the 15 authors that wrote this book, it was a lot, but I couldn't complain or tell anybody that, though I was complaining to my friends, like, I didn't like how this thing was going. But at the end of the day, at some point I was like, this is going to kick me off this team. I'm not joking. Because I was... But anyway, the year ended. 2022 began. And in January, all of a sudden, I realized, oh, they're done with the editing process, which was a lot again. And next thing, they're talking about how we're going to pre-order books and how we're going to hold this copy. And I'm like, but wait, this wasn't planned, part of my 2022 plan rather. But I'm part of the Black Label also. I said, okay, well, my year is going to get better. And then I had written this story for an NGO. At the time they contracted me or spoke to me to write this thing for them, I was almost finishing this book. Or I was stuck, because again, 2021, I was depressed for the most part. The only good thing that happened to me in 2021 was that I was alive, because I felt sick a lot. I was depressed a lot, and I suffered a lot in 2021. So I had to write a lot of essays, academic essays for students in UK, because I needed money. Again, we needed money for burial, so I was basically not doing most of my writing. So when I couldn't finish this book because I was doing a lot of work for people, an NGO contracted me to write at 8 for them. Now, when I finished writing at 8, I sent the books to them. They loved it. Everything was going on well. And I had explained to them that, you know, this book had a bit of the theme that I was talking about. They wanted me to write for them. And then I wrote, and after everything, I don't know what happened. For some reason, it felt like I was supposed to do a free work for them. Right now, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, should I have left it for them? But I don't know. I talked to my friend or two about it, and she was like, no, it doesn't make sense. Plus, I needed money. If you're going to be using my work to get exposure for something as big as UNESCO and Spotlight Initiative and all of those things, you should pay the creative that is doing it. But I said no biggie. So when 2022 started, I was like, okay, this thing was dragging longer than you should. And I started, let me publish it. And that was my second accomplishment for the year. Again, I did not start 2022 with anything in mind. Now, to blow your minds again, we draw down to April of 2022. And guess what? I started my podcast. Yeah. I started a podcast, Rave with Mara. And the podcast was part of what I wanted to do for 2021. I decided, fuck it. Let's just do it. Do it. If people like it, fine. If they don't like it, fuck it. Fuck anybody that doesn't like it. And I want to talk about societal conversations, basically. I want to talk about issues that affect women and girls. I want to talk about what is happening, what's going on in Nigeria, or how is politics affecting us as citizens? How is our decision even as the masses affecting the country in general? What's happening? Patriarchy, female genital mutilation, work pay, all of these things that happen in our society. And I did it. Maybe not again. When I started it, I was like, I don't fuck with the stuff, fine. If you don't want to, fine. And I started that. And by the grace of God, I was consistent from April when I started it till last week when I put out the last episode for the year. And then somewhere along the line, I wanted to also start YouTube. And then I decided I don't have a good phone. I don't have proper lighting. I don't have a good space. But this YouTube, we are going to do it. We are going to do it. And that's how I ended up here. So this is me telling people that my 2022 started with me having no plan. And I am happy to tell you guys that every day was not fine. I didn't smile every day. I wasn't happy every day. But I'm happy to tell you guys that in 2022, I was less depressed. I was less restless. Though my workload compounded because, again, you know how it is running almost how many different things. I was doing a podcast. I was doing the writing. I was doing adding YouTube to it. So it was a lot. And I had my 9-to-5 job. So it was a lot. But this year has been great for me. Besides the fact that, I had all of these things happening. I felt ill at some point, but like twice, and it was serious to the point that I fainted at the market area. But I was still happy. Like, that's what I want you guys to take home from this thing. Because I knew that if God wanted me to die, like for real, there is nothing you or I or anybody could have done to prevent it. So I'm here to tell you guys that all the expectations that I had for the year, which was 4, all 4 of them, 1 became real for me because I figured that the more happier I became during this year, things started to happen. My job as well, they were trying not to give me promotion or increase my pay, but that came to pass. Like, I didn't need to struggle. And the year also ended with more great news. So this year, I'm sharing my joy with you guys. I'm telling you guys to go into 2023 having God. Yes, that's something I forgot to mention. I think I became more God conscious. I used to be God conscious, but it dwindled from 2020. From 2019 when I lost my mom. Yes, it dwindled. And then this year, I became more God conscious. I became more God aware. Let me put it that way. I prayed more. I fellowshipped more. I talked about God more. And I basically gave all my everything, my pain, my joy, everything to God. So going into 2023, I want you guys to put God first above every other thing. Fine, there are some things that you write on a piece of paper and you write it out of faith, not because you think it can happen. But I've never been that person actually to write down an entire list to say, oh yeah, this is what, nope. But every new year, I go into the new year with expectations to be happier. And I figured if you have God and you're happy and you're content with whatever you have, right, then God is going to do more and more for you. So this is me telling you guys that I went into 2022 without any expectations. Something I'm always like, Maranatha, take a chill pill. Sometimes people do it not because they hate you or they do it on purpose. Maybe it's I don't know, unconsciously. But they come to you, they know that you're struggling through something, and then they come to you to gloat, in quotes. But this year, I did not allow any of that get to me. Even when people were telling me, Maranatha, you've been on this book since I started this book in December of 2020. But I stopped writing it March of 2021. So I didn't touch this book again up until August of 2021. Then I wrote a few pages and I dropped it again because the stress of the burial was hitting me hard from September, and I didn't write it again until this year. People kept sending me messages and I kept telling them, yo, nobody's gonna rush me. I know so and so, I published so and so, but my journey and their journey is not the same thing. So I want you to go into 2023 with these thoughts in your head. In your family dynamics, it's possible that you are the firstborn or the middleborn or the lastborn, and it seems like life is just moving fine for everybody else. Or in your friendship dynamics, everybody has their own thing going. Oh, this one has won so and so, this one has traveled out, this one is business is flourishing and all that. But I want you to remember that my journey and your journey can never be the same. We may be given the same metrics, may be given the same everything, basically You have two systems, I have two systems. You have one head, I have one head. You have so amount of money in your account, I have, but my journey and your journey can never be the same. So go into 2023 with that mindset of whatever God has planned for you, it will come to be. If it doesn't come to be, it means that is not what God has planned for you at that point. So, as you're writing your New Year resolution, I know you're writing things that are not realistic from a place of faith. It's fine. I'm not judging you for that. Have faith that you're going to travel out of the country next year with zero balance in your account. That is me right now, by the way. But always ensure that above all of these things, you're not comparing yourself to somebody else's journey. And above everything else, you're happier and more thankful to God. I haven't laughed as much as I've laughed this year in my previous 2 years. So yes, because what? I was contented. Even though I knew, okay, a new day comes and I'm like, oh, how am I not try this thing? Don't always expect that you go blow. As everybody they blow, you say go blow. Your grace and their grace, no be the same thing. My guy Whiskey even sing that. Them no feel run my race. Run my race. Run my race. Run my race. So grace right there on top Whiskey head. No being there your head. No being there your head. No being there your sister head. So yeah. Cheers to end of the year and happy 2023. See you guys. Mwah.